In franchising, I consider two types of investors that buy franchises. There are what we call seasoned investors that are looking for a return on their money. Their money in the bank is getting 4%, 5%, and if they can get better than that, they want to park their money somewhere that has the highest return with the lowest risk. Those are the guys that buy your McDonald's and Burger Kings and Wendy's and KFC's and those kind of franchises. Why? Because those franchises are very much established and they have a reputation. And yes, the risk is a lot less. They talk about a McDonald's, about $2.25, maybe $2.5 million into a single location. And that location produces anywhere between $150,000 to $250,000 of profit yearly, producing a good, nice 8 to 10% return ROI on their money. But those are old school type of investors. There are what we consider entrepreneurs, and those are the guys that are buying franchises that are a little bit higher risk. At least on the surface, they seem higher risk. These are franchises that are newer, that are emerging in industries that have never existed before. Like we talked about urgent care centers, we talk about home care services. So these type of individuals that are buying these, they are spending less money to start these businesses, but they're not buying a McDonald's, which has been around for 50 years. They're buying a business that's been around for 5 years or 4 years or 6 years. So they're supposedly taking a higher risk, but in reality, what they're spending up front is significantly less. If you consider a home service business, you can buy a home service franchise for as little as $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, less than $100,000. And the good thing about these kind of businesses is you go into business soon after you get trained. In other words, there's no build out or anything else involved with it. So once you buy the franchise, you travel and you get trained, you buy the equipment that's necessary, whatever amount of time that takes, and then you're in business. And then you start getting money on the money that you spend, and you recoup these investments very quickly. Typical home service business can produce $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. That is significantly higher ROI than your traditional franchises. If you look at the restaurant industry, for example, the restaurant industry, you can start a restaurant, a quick service restaurant for between $150,000 to $400,000. And then these restaurants typically produce anywhere between 8 to 20% net profit, right? So they do average up between $700,000 to $1.5 million a year in sales, and you can do the math as to what 8 to 20% of that really equals to. So again, those have very much a higher ROI. Safer business, food is always there and people need it. And as long as you're buying something that is not trendy and it's actually there to stay, you're gonna see people continuously coming into your store.